All right, so buckle up because today we are taking a deep dive into some pretty wild stuff about the moon. It looks like you guys sent us some really interesting theories and claims, and to be honest, some of it's straight up science fiction.
Mm.
But hey, that's what deep dives are for, right? We're going to be looking at this source called Contactee Claims Our Moon is Artificial and Was Brought Here from Another Galaxy.
Wow, that title is pretty out there. But I have to say, it is fascinating how people blend astronomy and conspiracy theories together and, even a little mythology sometimes. It really shows how much we humans are just, well, obsessed with the moon.
It really does make you wonder, like, why are we so obsessed with the moon? I mean, it's a big rock in the sky, but it's inspired so many stories and poems and even scientific discoveries.
It's true. For like centuries, people have looked up and wondered about what's up there. Is there anyone else up there? What's on the other side? And this source, it takes those questions to a whole new level.
So let's jump right in. This source is all about this guy, Alex Collier, who claims he can talk to aliens telepathically. And not just any aliens. This alien named Moreni is supposed to be from the Andromeda Galaxy.
Okay, so right away, we're talking about telepathic communication with aliens. That's a pretty big claim.
Totally, but let's just go with it for a minute. Moreni claims that our moon, the one we see every night, isn't actually, well, natural. Moreni says it was brought here from another galaxy called Ursa Minor billions of years ago. And get this, it was a spaceship, a transport ship for reptilians and early humans.
So from a scientific point of view, there's nothing to back that up. Like, the main theory is that the moon was formed from debris after something huge hit Earth billions of years ago. But, I mean, think about it. What if this other origin story was true?
Whoa, it changed everything, right? Everything we know about the solar system, about life, about how we got here.
Yeah, it's not just about the moon anymore. It's about our whole understanding of, like, existence.
Okay, so following this Moreni guy's story, he says this moon spaceship is actually a piece of a bigger ship called Maldek. It was part of this ancient war, and get this, it involved, and I'm quoting here, tyrannical gay aliens from something called the Orion Empire.
Okay. That's definitely one of the stranger details in this whole thing. It's not really clear what it means or how it fits in.
Right.
Maybe it's from some kind of like, secret belief system, or Collier just, I don't know, misunderstood something Marini told him. But it shows how these stories can mix all kinds of different ideas together.
Yeah, it's like those old myths,
Right.
where gods and monsters fought in the sky. Now it's aliens and spaceships, but it's the same kind of story, right? Huge battles happening in space.
You got it.
Yeah.
It seems like no matter how advanced we get, we still love those epic stories.
All right, but Moreni doesn't stop there. He claims the moon is hollow, and inside are these massive bases
Hmm.
built by aliens and then later humans. He even says there are 7 openings that lead into these bases.
Ah, the hollow moon theory. That one's been around for a while. It's a cool idea, but scientifically it just doesn't make sense. The moon's gravity and the way it shakes during moonquakes tells us it has to be solid inside.
But, okay, let's say it was hollow, just for fun.
Hmm.
Who built those bases? Why? And how has no one found out about them?
Yeah, I mean, that's where things get really interesting, right? We'd have to think about super advanced civilizations, maybe with technology we can't even imagine. And those openings, secret entrances, maybe. Sounds like a spy movie.
I know, right? This is where science fiction and conspiracies get all mixed up.
Totally. And it's like a testament to the power of stories. They make us curious, they make us question things, and maybe, just maybe, they make us look at the moon a little differently.
Okay, let's look at another claim from this source, something I bet we've all wondered about. Those craters on the moon, they always look kind of shallow, right? Well, Moreni says that's because the moon's surface is basically a metal shell built over the original spaceship.
Yeah. Some scientists have been puzzled by how shallow those craters are, but there are better explanations than a hidden metal shell, like the stuff the moon's surface is made of, the angle things hit it, how hard they hit. All that affects how the craters form.
So it's more about physics and geology than alien construction.
Right. It's tempting to go for the craziest explanation, but sometimes the simplest one is the right one.
All right, fair enough. But what about the far side of the moon, the side we never see from Earth? Moreni says that's where things get really intense. He says it's like a battleground from a war that happened over 113,000 years ago.
Interesting. That plays into a common idea in a lot of conspiracy theories, right? The idea that there's secret knowledge, things being kept from us. The far side of the moon, we can't even see it, so it's easy to imagine all kinds of things happening there.
And it gets even crazier. Moreni describes this supposed mission in the 1950s, but not by NASA, by the NSA. They went to the moon, he says, and found this huge underground base under the Jules Verne crater. And inside, the remains of a battle, and wait for it, reptilian bodies.
Wow, okay. So now we've got secret government agencies, hidden moon bases, and of course, the classic reptilian aliens.
It's like someone took all the best parts of a sci-fi movie and turned it into one giant moon conspiracy. It's amazing how, even though we can see the holes in the story, it's still so captivating.
Absolutely. It shows how much humans need to find meaning and excitement in the world, you know? We're always looking for explanations that go beyond the ordinary, something deeper.
So it's not about whether it's true or not, it's about why these stories are so powerful.
Exactly. It's about understanding why we believe these things and realizing that even the wildest claims can tell us something about ourselves, our hopes, our fears, and our fascination with the unknown.
Okay, so we've got ancient wars, secret bases, reptilian bodies on the moon. But it gets even more complicated. Moretti says there's a whole secret program running these lunar bases, run by a world order that's working with aliens.
This world order idea, it comes up a lot in conspiracy theories. It speaks to this feeling that we're not in control, that powerful people are manipulating things behind the scenes.
Right, and it ties into the whole idea that we're not being told the truth, that there's this hidden reality going on.
It's a way of explaining things that seem random or confusing, you know? If there's a group controlling everything, then at least there's some kind of order to it all.
So it's not just about aliens and spaceships, it's also about very human anxieties, about power and control, and even the nature of true itself.
You got it. These stories aren't just about crazy events, they're about how we humans try to make sense of the world, find explanations, and feel like we have some control over the unknown.
Okay, Moretti gives some details about this so-called world order. He talks about groups called the Black Monks and Blue Moon, this whole hierarchy running the moon bases. And he says NASA is a cover-up, hiding the truth about the moon from everyone.
That's a classic conspiracy theory move, right?
Yeah.
A powerful organization using its power to control information and manipulate things. It's a strong idea because it plays on our distrust of authority, our desire for transparency.
Yeah, it reinforces that whole things are not what they seem feeling.
Exactly. And the fact that there's no real proof actually makes people believe it more. The lack of evidence becomes evidence itself, like a sign that something's being hidden.
So the more we try to debunk it, the stronger the belief gets.
Sometimes, yeah. It becomes a cycle. Skepticism just confirms their suspicions. It's a tough thing to deal with.
Okay, so we've got aliens, secret bases, a shadowy world order. But what about these alpha organizations the source talks about? Alpha 1 and Alpha 2.
Ah, yes. This is where they try to make the story even more mysterious and complex. Alpha 1 is supposedly all about taking resources from Earth and keeping things secret. And Alpha 2, they claim, is actually MJ-12, this legendary organization that's been part of UFO conspiracies for ages.
It's like they're taking bits and pieces from different conspiracy theories and trying to connect them all.
Right. And while it's tempting to try to connect the dots, we have to be careful not to see patterns that aren't really there.
Yeah, we need to stay critical, even when we're dealing with these out-there claims.
Totally. It's about finding that balance between being open-minded and being skeptical. We can explore these ideas, but we have to base our conclusions on evidence and logic.
Okay, so we've got this source that makes some pretty crazy claims about the moon, its origins, and the secret activities supposedly happening right now. But we also have to acknowledge that the source itself is really questionable and doesn't have any real evidence to back it up.
That's true. It's like being given a beautiful puzzle box, but with no key to open it. We can admire it, guess what's inside, but ultimately we're left with questions.
It's frustrating, but kind of exciting too. It leaves room for our imagination, for those what-if moments that make us look up at the moon and wonder.
Yeah, I get that. And sometimes that sense of wonder and mystery is just as valuable as having all the answers.
So even if we don't believe everything Collier says, there's still something captivating about the idea of a moon with hidden depths, a silent witness to events we might not understand.
Definitely. The moon has always been a source of fascination, inspiration, and even fear, you know? It reminds us how vast the universe is and how much we still don't know.
And even if we forget about all the conspiracies and aliens, there's still so much about the moon we're still learning.
Right. The moon is a goldmine of scientific information. It's a time capsule from the early solar system. It tells us about how planets formed and how life started on Earth.
And let's not forget about all the amazing things humans have done exploring the moon. The Apollo missions were incredible feats of engineering, and they show how driven we are to explore the unknown.
Totally agree. Those images of astronauts walking on the moon, they captured the world's imagination. It was a moment that brought everyone together in awe and excitement.
So even without aliens and secret societies, there's still plenty to be amazed by when it comes to the moon.
Yeah, it reminds us that reality itself can be more incredible than anything we could make up.
All right, so we've explored the claims, we've looked at the evidence or lack of it, and we've even talked about why these stories are so appealing. But let's bring it back to you, the listener.
Good point. This whole deep dive is about exploring the things you found interesting.
Exactly. So what do you think about all of this? Are you drawn to the crazier parts of Collier's story? Or do you approach these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism?
It's a good question to think about. Do you think there might be some truth to it? Or do you see them as just stories that show how much we love the moon and its mysteries?
Maybe it's a bit of both, right? Maybe there's value in being open to possibilities, but also staying grounded in critical thinking and looking for evidence.
That sounds like a good approach. After all, it's that combination of curiosity and skepticism that drives science and keeps us exploring the limits of what we know and what we can imagine.
Well said. Okay, we've covered a lot today. Aliens, secret societies, ancient wars, even the psychology of conspiracy theories. But there's one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up. Let's say just for fun, that there were some kind of secret things happening on the far side of the moon, like what Collier and Moreni describe. What kind of technology would they need to make that happen?
Oh, wow. We'd be talking about technology far beyond anything we have now. Advanced engines for space travel, huge power sources for those bases, and some kind of cloaking or shielding to hide it all.
Yeah. We're talking about building enormous structures, moving people and resources across vast distances, and keeping it all secret.
It would be a massive leap in technology, unlike anything we've ever seen. We'd need breakthroughs in physics, engineering, material science, things we can only dream of right now.
It makes you wonder about what humans are really capable of, right?
It does. Maybe somewhere out there are civilizations that have already achieved these things, but for now, it's just speculation.
Okay, let's bring it back down to Earth, literally. Even without all these wild claims about secret bases and super technology, the real moon is still an amazing place, full of wonder and scientific discoveries.
Oh, absolutely. It's our closest neighbor in space, always there in the night sky, a constant reminder of how vast and beautiful the universe is.
It affects our tides, our calendars, our art, our myths. It inspires poets, musicians, dreamers, and we're still studying it, learning about the history of our solar system and how life began.
You're right. So even if we don't believe everything in the source material, there's still so much to appreciate about the moon.
It's like a reminder that sometimes real life is stranger than fiction. And even the most familiar things in the sky can hold secrets and mysteries we're just beginning to understand.
Well said. I think that's a great place to pause for now.
I agree. We've explored some fascinating things, but there's still more to uncover. We'll be back soon to finish our lunar journey and share some final thoughts about what this all means for you.
It's amazing, isn't it, how these ideas about Alpha 1 and Alpha 2, they really play into that whole fascination we have with secret societies.
Yeah, like there's something about the unknown that just draws us in. This idea that there are these hidden groups working in the shadows with all this power and knowledge.
Right, exactly. Secret societies have, always captivated us. The Freemasons, the Illuminati, they all represent this world of secrets and hidden agendas and rituals, you know?
It's like they're doing all these things right under our noses, but we have no idea.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that these ideas would pop up in stories about the moon. I mean, we've already talked about how mysterious the moon is,
Yeah.
especially the side we can't even see.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
like the perfect setting for conspiracy theories, and adding these shadowy organizations controlling things from their secret moon bases, well, it just makes the story even better.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into these alpha groups.
Yeah.
We talked about Alpha 1. They're all about gathering resources and keeping things top secret. But what about Alpha 2? The source claims it's actually MJ-12, which has been a big part of UFO conspiracies for a long time.
Yeah. This is where things get really interesting. It's like they're trying to create this, mega conspiracy theory, connecting UFOs, secret societies, and moon bases all together into one big story.
But is there any actual proof that MJ-12 even exists, let alone that they're involved with the moon?
That's the big question, isn't it? There have been lots of claims and documents about MJ-12, but none of them have been proven real. People who don't believe it say these documents are either fake or just misunderstandings about normal government stuff.
So we're back to the same problem, right? Evidence versus belief. We can imagine that these secret organizations exist, but without proof, it's just speculation.
That's the challenge with these kinds of claims. It's easy to get caught up in the mystery and the excitement of it all, but we have to be critical, demand evidence, and not jump to
Yeah,
conclusions.
that's important. All right, so we've talked about secret societies, moon bases, even a world order controlling everything. But at the center of all of this is Alex Collier and his claim that he can talk to Moraine telepathically.
That's right. And that's a key point. Everything we've talked about depends on whether Collier is telling the truth. If his claims about talking to aliens aren't true, then the whole story falls apart.
Yeah, like a house of cards. So, what do we know about Collier? Is he credible? What do other people who believe in UFOs and conspiracies think of him?
Well, Collier has been a controversial figure for a long time. Some people believe him, especially those who want to believe in aliens and government cover-ups. But others criticize him because he doesn't have evidence, his stories change, and he relies on personal anecdotes instead of facts.
So even people who are open to these kinds of ideas are skeptical of him.
Yeah, a lot of people in the UFO and conspiracy communities don't trust Collier or his claims.
That's interesting. Even within groups that share similar beliefs, there are still debates and disagreements about what to believe.
That's right. It shows that even when we're dealing with extraordinary claims, we still need to be critical. Blind faith, even in something that sounds convincing, can lead us astray.
So where does that leave us? We have this source that makes some pretty unbelievable claims about the moon, its origins, and the secret things supposedly going on there. But we also know that the source itself is questionable and doesn't have any real proof.
I think that's a fair assessment. It's like being presented with this amazing puzzle box, all intricate and mysterious, but without a key to open it. We can admire it, guess what might be inside, but we're still left with unanswered questions.
Yeah, it is frustrating, but it's also kind of exciting. It leaves room for imagination, for those what-if scenarios that make us look up at the moon and wonder.
I agree. And sometimes that sense of wonder and mystery is just as valuable as having all the answers.
So even if we don't believe everything Collier says, there's still something captivating about the idea of a moon with hidden depths, a moon that has witnessed events beyond our comprehension.
Oh, definitely. The moon has always held this power over us. It's a source of fascination, inspiration, and even a little bit of fear. It reminds us of how vast the universe is and how much we still don't understand.
And you know what? Even if we put aside all the conspiracy theories and alien stuff, there's still so much about the moon that we're still learning and discovering.
You're absolutely right. The moon is like a treasure chest of scientific knowledge. It's a time capsule from the early days of our solar system, giving us clues about how planets formed and how life started here on Earth.
And we can't forget about all the incredible things humans have done exploring the moon. The Apollo missions were such amazing feats of engineering. They show how much we crave to explore the unknown.
I completely agree. Those images of astronauts walking on the moon, they captured everyone's imagination. It was a moment that brought all of humanity together in awe and a sense of accomplishment.
So even without aliens and secret societies, there's still plenty to be fascinated by when it comes to the moon.
Yeah, it's a reminder that sometimes reality is even more amazing than anything we could imagine.
Okay, so we've looked at the claims, we've talked about the lack of evidence, and we've even touched on why these stories are so appealing. But let's bring it back to you, the listener, for a moment.
Yeah, good point. This entire deep dive is all about exploring the stuff that you found interesting.
Exactly. So what do you think about all of this? Do you find yourself drawn to the more outlandish parts of Collier's story? Or are you approaching these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism?
It's something to really think about. Do you think there might be some truth to these claims? Or do you see them as just imaginative stories that reflect our fascination with the moon and all its mysteries?
Maybe it's a bit of both, you know? Maybe there's value in being open to possibilities while also staying grounded in critical thinking and looking for evidence.
That sounds like a balanced approach. After all, it's that combination of curiosity and skepticism that fuels scientific discovery and keeps us exploring the boundaries of what we know and what we can imagine.
Well said. All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about aliens, secret societies, ancient wars, and even the psychology of conspiracy theories. But there's one more aspect of this deep dive I want to touch on before we wrap things up.
Oh, what's that?
Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that there were some kind of secret activities happening on the far side of the moon, the kind of things Collier and Moraine describe. What kind of technology would you need to pull that off?
That's a really interesting question. We'd be talking about technology far beyond anything we have today. Advanced propulsion systems for interstellar travel, massive energy sources to power those bases, and some seriously sophisticated cloaking or shielding technology to keep it all hidden.
Exactly. Think about it. Building those huge structures, transporting people and resources across vast distances, and keeping it all a secret from the entire world, it would be mind-blowing.
It would be a technological leap like we've never seen before. It would require breakthroughs in physics, engineering, material science, things that are, for now, pure science fiction.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder about the limits of human ingenuity, doesn't it?
Mhm.
What could we achieve if we really set our minds to it?
It's a fascinating question, and maybe somewhere out there, civilizations far more advanced than us have already figured it out. But for us, it's still in the realm of imagination.
Okay, let's bring it back down to Earth, literally. Even without all these wild claims of secret moon bases and advanced alien technology, the real moon is still an incredible source of wonder and scientific exploration.
Oh, absolutely. It's our closest celestial neighbor, always there in the night sky, reminding us of the vastness and beauty of the universe.
It's influenced our tides, our calendars, our art, our myths. It's a source of inspiration for poets, musicians, dreamers, and it's still a target for scientific study, offering us clues about the history of our solar system and the very origins of life itself.
You're absolutely right. So even if we set aside the more outlandish claims from this source material, there's still so much to appreciate and be fascinated by when it comes to the moon.
It reminds us that sometimes reality is even more strange and wonderful than anything we could make up.
That's a great point. I think that's a perfect place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
I agree. We've explored some really interesting ideas, but there's still more to uncover. We'll be back soon to finish our lunar journey and share some final thoughts about what this all means for you. All right, welcome back to your personalized deep dive. This whole moon thing has been pretty mind-blowing, right?
I know, right? We've gone from alien spaceships to secret societies and a world order controlling everything. It's like a mashup of sci-fi, conspiracies, and ancient myths.
As we wrap this up, I keep thinking about why these moon mysteries are so fascinating. Like, why do we love these stories, even when there's no proof?
That's a great question. I think it's partly because we're just wired to be curious about the unknown.
Yeah.
The moon, especially the far side, is like a blank slate. We can imagine anything we want being up there.
Right. It's like that old saying, we fear what we don't understand. The moon used to be this distant, mysterious thing.
Yeah.
And it made people feel both awestruck and a little scared.
Exactly. And even though we've landed on the moon and explored it, there's still this air of mystery around it. And that mystery is really attractive, you know?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle we haven't finished yet, and our brains just want to figure it out.
And then there's the whole conspiracy thing, this idea that there are hidden truths, secret agendas, and powerful people controlling everything.
Yeah, it's like those childhood fears, the monster under the bed, the whispers in the dark. We never really grow out of that fascination with secrets and the forbidden.
And in a world that feels so chaotic and unpredictable, believing that someone, even if they're bad, is in control can actually be kind of comforting. It makes things feel more orderly.
So these moon conspiracies are a way to escape, to explore the unknown, and also to deal with our fears about power and control.
Exactly. And remember, these stories often reflect what's going on in the world at the time. Like during the Cold War, there was so much paranoia about communism and secret government programs.
Right, and that's when a lot of UFO and alien conspiracies started. People were looking for answers, and those answers often involved shadowy figures and hidden motives.
And those themes are still around today, just in different forms. With all the information overload and distrust in institutions, it's easy to see why stories about secret societies and hidden truths are so popular.
So it's not just about the moon. It's about us, our fears, our beliefs, and how we try to make sense of the world, even when it's confusing.
That's a great point, and I think that's one of the most important things to take away from this deep dive. These stories, even the crazy ones, can tell us a lot about ourselves, our fears, and our fascination with the unknown.
And even if we don't believe everything in this source, it's good to keep an open mind, question what we think we know, and approach the world with curiosity and wonder.
Couldn't agree more. After all, that sense of wonder is what pushes us to explore, discover, and try to understand our place in the universe.
It seems like we've come full circle. We started with a story about an artificial moon from another galaxy, and now we're talking about the human need for meaning, the allure of the unknown, and the importance of critical thinking.
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? And I hope it's given you, the listener, something to think about.
What did you take away from this deep dive? Did anything really stand out to you?
Are you rethinking everything you thought you knew about the moon? Or are you approaching these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism?
Whatever your perspective is, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop searching for the truth.
Remember, the universe is vast and full of mysteries. And who knows, maybe someday we'll discover something about the moon that's even more amazing than anything we can imagine right now.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this lunar adventure, and keep looking up. You never know what you might find.